On this hunt, my buddies Pete, Neil, Tim, and Len head out to the Colorado Rockies where we are on the hunt for bull and cow elk. All right, we are out here in elk country finally. Took us about 4 hours, 5-ish with a couple of stops. And our normal campsite has been taken by some outfitters, so I think all the years hunting up here have finally been made. But we're out scoping some more campsites. We have a provisional site right now where we parked the camper, and just kind of looking for some stuff. We got a lot of moisture right now. It's going to rain and then turn into snow overnight, and then kind of clear up for us for the actual hunting season. So, but we will get her done one way or another. So next up will be our little setup, and we're going to get up into the mountains. All right, here's our little setup for now. We got another group coming in. We'll kick out the back end of our trailer here, make room, and we got another trailer coming in. And we got snow in the mountain. We're 3 days, 2.5 days before the hunt. And that's where we're going. Right up there. Good morning, everybody. And just as expected, we got a little snow here. Looking at, maybe about 3 inches or so. Kind of socked in around us. And we're just waiting on the rest of the crew to come. We ended up having to take a spot here in the open. Not too much timber around us, as you can see. Not a big deal. We can drive over and cut some stragglers and get some firewood going here. What we didn't think about was like, there's no spot to make an elk pole. So improvise. A couple teepees up there. We'll run a pole across the top and should be fine. But a couple days before the hunt here, a little bit of weather, and it's supposed to clear up, so we'll be back at it here shortly. Bedded bull right at camp. Unbelievable. Look at the size of her or him. Shenanigans at camp. Waiting on the rest of the crew to get in. Some might think when you leave the family for a hunting trip, most people would call it a vacation. That couldn't be further from the truth. Let's face it, it's a lot of work. But there's nothing more rewarding than felling some deadheads, chopping firewood, and listening to the coyotes on the hunt in preparation for a long week in the mountains.
Young pups. That's a young one.
You're down in there. In the oaks?
Yep.
We set up in here. Not warm.
Today, no.
Oh, for sure. Probably a couple of hours ago.
So he did this, he did this, and then he peeled the whole thing back. And then laid
There's a whole lot of planning that happens well before the hunt. But there's nothing like the pre-night jitters to get yourself going. Now, it's our time to shine and put all of our plans to work. This is the night before the hunt. All right, here we are. It's opening day. We're walking into our spots. Let's see what we can kick up on the way. Got a little bit of a late start today, but got Pete here, my wingman. We're gonna take down some elk today. All right, stay tuned. All right, folks, I've been sitting here since early morning, my usual spot for opening day, and it's been pretty quiet today. I bumped up one doe. We have this solar eclipse happening right now. I'm not sure if you can see it behind me, but there just hasn't been a lot of action today, so I think I'm gonna start moving around through this bowl and work my way around up to the top of the ridge and then back down and can find a spot for an evening sit. So lots of sign, lots of tracks, droppings in this area. So we should be able to get onto something here. Okay. So I made it around that whole bowl around me to the other side. I followed some tracks for a while, but I didn't really see anything. I decided to sit for a little bit, and the wind was pretty swirly, and did kick up an elk. I didn't see it, but it was just one elk, so I'm assuming it was a bull. So now I've looped back around to try to catch the downward thermal. It's about 4 o'clock right now, and things are starting to move downhill, so behind me here, it's all sloping down. I'm looking up this face, and there's several game trails around me with elk and elk beds, so hopefully we can catch them on the transition, and so we're gonna get after it. Some elk moving in. I'm in front of a big game trail. We'll see what comes in. And just then, I hear some crashing down below the ridge. Most of the elk I've taken in this area have come within a 70-yard shot. I ready myself for the shot, but they make a hard turn for the other side of the bowl and over to the south slope. I'll have to come up with a better plan tomorrow. We're at the last few minutes of shooting light. There's about 30 minutes left, and I'm going to try to finish it out here. It's getting pretty cold. So, if not successful tonight, then we'll be back tomorrow morning at it again. Alright, see you on this flip side. If there's one thing about putting in a 12-hour hunt, it's the warmth of a fire. The inevitable stories and shenanigans that will ensue at camp. Being a wine sommelier in my previous profession, the boys tested my abilities with chocolate and vanilla cookies, which I did get right, by the way.
Okay,
Don't say anything.
Think deep.
Okay. How many second one? You can't give me two of the same.
I won't. I'm not going to.
Well, that's part of the test.
No.
It
I'm
could
not
be.
going to.
It could be
It's
two the
random.
same.
Here you go.
It's
Take a bite of
random.
that one. It's a whole cookie. It's a whole cookie. You know that it's not the same. Yeah, give it back to me. It would never give you two of the same.
So
Is it a green
No, just
M&M
wait,
or a
no,
red
just wait.
M&M?
We have a placebo.
Can we do one more?
It could be
Let's
a
do,
cow
we
pie.
have to do a control.
Yeah,
This
totally.
is a control.
Could be.
how's it a control?
Cow-
Do one more.
just is.
This is
That's
a whole
all
cookie. You haven't had this kind before.
Yeah.
How's it a control?
It's a
It could
control.
have. It could.
Trust me, I'm a scientist.
Maybe it's Sarah's cookie.
I have a,
Yeah,
I have a PhD in BS.
We're trying to get. We're trying to
Now
get.
hand it back to me. Hand it back to me.
It eliminates variation. It eliminates variation. Just eat it.
All right, now, don't get out of your head.
Okay. The last one you gave me was vanilla. The first one you gave me was chocolate.
Okay, and then the middle one.
No.
You're wrong.
The control.
I gave you two chocolates and one vanilla. I gave you chocolate, vanilla, chocolate.
Yeah, you're right.
The degrees of freedom.
I did have it right though.
Day 2 on the elk hunt. It was really quiet in the woods yesterday, and there was the eclipse and everything. I think it had everything all jacked up, so we think today's gonna be a better day. It's nice and cold again, so we're gonna move our way up the mountain, and there goes Pete up there. We're gonna split up and try to see if we can get these elk surrounded. We heard some things yesterday. Nobody really saw anything, but we heard them, so we know they're in there. All right, we're gonna get after it. Just had some elk crashing up there, but they were over on the other side of the ridge, so I might have to go chase them here. Maybe. See if we can get back onto them. Got a shot off in the neighborhood, so.
After all the excitement, I got a call on the radio that Pete shot a cow. I made my way up to him, just a few hundred yards up the ridge behind me.
Hey, Dan.
Good job, buddy.
Thank you.
Was she by herself?
Yeah.
That's the one I saw then.
Nice work.
One elk sneaking through.
We got meat in the bag.
All right.
Pete shot his first elk, and we all couldn't be more happier for him. Now the work begins.
Hot, or was the adrenaline flowing? Were you shaking?
I was pretty calm. I'm surprised at myself, honestly. I thought I would freak out. Maybe if I had had more time to think about it, then I would have been nervous. But it just walked right across my view. I only had a second to make a decision, so that was it.
That's the thing. Brown and down.
Right.
We even had a visit from our local Department of Wildlife officer to make it official. So Pete, got your first elk.
Great.
I'm sure that's a really exciting moment. We were all excited for you to get your first elk. Kind of walk us through how everything really unfolded.
Yeah, so I found a nice place to sit. The day before I had been a little lower down on the mountain and didn't see anything, so I thought I'd go climb up a little higher. Found a great spot that had sight lines looking across the mountain and looking down to where I had been the day before. I felt like I had a great view, and if something came through there, I would be able to at least have a chance at getting a shot at it.
Right.
The sun rose and the morning went on. I was probably sitting about 2 hours before finally I sort of, you get into that place mentally where you're just kind of meditating and you're not even really thinking that hard about anything. And all of a sudden I looked up and I saw a big brown body moving through.
Isn't that such
some
a great feeling?
aspens. Oh man, it was really exciting, but I managed to stay calm. The animal stepped out into the open and I saw it was an elk. I saw it was a cow. So I got my rifle up, took off the safety, And as soon as it took one more step, sort of showing me that vital area, I took my shot.
And I heard that shot. You were on the ridge above me, and I was really excited to hear that. And then Neil was on another ridge over there too, so I wasn't sure, who got that shot.
Right.
And it was, it was really exciting because we literally are the only people hunting on that mountain.
That's right.
So, that is just such a great feeling. So this being your first elk, tell me the emotions that kind of get stirred up when you're finally successful. You've been at it for a bit with us, and we were all really, really thankful for you to get your first elk. But tell us, in your words, like how that felt.
Yeah, I mean, definitely I was exhilarated, but after the first shot, I knew I still had some work to do, so I tried to stay as calm as possible and make sure that I got the kill so we could harvest the meat. So I was really kind of keeping everything down.
Yeah.
Afterwards, though, what really the strongest feeling I had was relief. Like, you've gone out for 10 years and not been successful. It was just kind of this pressure came off of me, and I was like, now I can just enjoy myself because I was putting stress on myself to kind of successfully hunt.
I think we all were. I think we're probably not as excited as you were, but but pretty close to equally as excited for you to get your first elk. And I think, in fact, the night before, we were sitting by the campfire and we saw a shooting star, and that was really my wish, was for you to get your elk this year, which I just really great moment for sure. So you've been at this now. You said 10 years, right? Kind of walk us through a little bit of what it's like to get prepared for this elk season. Are you working out leading up to it, or just kind of tell the people kind of what it takes to really be mountain ready for this type of hunting?
Yeah. I think there's kind of the main things to consider. Fitness is definitely one of them. So that I know, and I felt it when I was out there. When I got tired, I was not quiet. I was not making really good decisions about the direction I was heading, the paths I was choosing as I was hiking. So being tired kind of takes you out of your game. So fitness helps a bunch just to stay really alert and to be ready to shoot. And equipment matters a lot too. You kind of have to. You don't have to have every brand new thing that comes out,
right?
But you have to have layers of clothing. You have to be able to communicate with your team. So radios are essential. Good footwear really makes a big difference.
You gotta
have your equipment. And then the last part, I think, mentally, is just patience. I think one of the things that spoils it for a lot of people, spoiled it for me a bunch of years in a row, was getting impatient and just moving through underbrush way too fast, and instead of just relaxing, staying still, be smart. Think, I know where I am. I know where the elk like to go. I'm just gonna hunker down here and wait for it.
Yeah, I can't stress enough about being fit, right? I've lived in Colorado for 20 plus years and recently moved away a few years ago. Now I'm a flatlander, and I knew that going into it. So all this summer I was out hiking, doing as much activity as I possibly can. Being physical fit is a huge part, I think. Mentally strong, because it can be as much as it can be exciting, it can be defeating. So well, Pete, thank you so much for taking the time to kind of walk us through your hunt and that experience. Just letting the people know that we're average everyday people out here going elk hunting. We've been at it for a number of years now. We learn a little bit more each season, and you can be one of those people too if you're just getting into this. Watching some of these videos, picking up tricks along the way, and you can be successful. It's just as much luck as it is skill, but anybody can do it, and I hope you guys get a chance to get outdoors. Thanks.
With one cow down, we still had 2 cow tags and 2 bull tags to fill. Now it's time to plan the rest of the hunt. Should we stick to our usual area or head on a journey to get into these elk? With not a lot of action, we started to rely on our spotting scope, and Tim spotted 2 bull elk feeding at dusk on the south side of our bowl. You can barely make them out here, but you can see them feeding in these scrub oaks. We decided to get into the north side of that ridge they were feeding and see if we could cut them off when they were headed back early the next morning.
So we're on day 3 of the hunt. We were successful with a really nice cow that Pete got, and we got most of that. We got it all hung up, and we're gonna debone later this afternoon. But most of the snow is melted off now, and it's gonna make the woods a little bit more quiet, just because it's been damp. But there's been no wind up here, and not a lot of activity. So hopefully, with this little shift here, it's gonna get the elk moving around a little bit more.
Early the next morning, we were in position to catch one of those bulls moving over to the north side of our bowl. We had what we thought was a lot of re-entry points covered, but the only thing that comes through was a nice muley buck.
Day 4. Got out a little earlier today, trying a different area of the mountain, and I rolled up and I have fresh sign right here and a good game trail. So I'm gonna set this first shooting light here, which is in about 10 minutes, and see if we get something coming through. All right. Got a nice big round here. Seems to be fairly fresh. So we know we got a bull in this area. Let's see if we can stalk him down.
If there's one thing that will warm you up when it's cold, it's seeing movement at the last 30 minutes before shooting light. With the light dropping fast, I had what I thought was 2 elk moving into the meadow to feed. Was it a bull? Was it 2? Wait! At 350 yards and just enough light to make out bodies, I quickly learned that it was just a few mule does, and they pretty much kept me entertained until the last light fell upon me. With throwing up another incompletion on this play, it's 3rd down and long, and there's not much time left on the clock. It's time for no huddle and rely on instinct.
Alrighty folks, this is the last day of the hunt, and we got some bulls here in front of me. The field I sat last night, they cross over to go to another divide. So I'm gonna try to catch them on the way. Hopefully we'll be coming back with a bull video here. Alright. Alright, the bulls moved up the mountain a little bit more, so I'm on the stalk. Gonna cut through these aspens here and hopefully try to cut them off where the dark timber is. Alright, here we go.
Alright, this is last walk in. Going to get an epic hunt. Nice big bull for you. We got a cow coming for me. We're heading up here to the hills. It's gonna be a sweet evening sit.
Let's kill some elk.
Sit north facing. It's gonna be a little cold. It'll be good.
While Neil makes his way along this ridge, I find a good sitting spot that is sure to bring a bull my way.
Okay, I've posted up. I hiked over this ridge that's overlooking the area that I sat last night and heard the bugles, and then was back this morning on the other ridge and heard bugles in here. So what I'm thinking he's doing is he's making his way up this whole saddle, this bowl, crossing over the other ridge on the north side, and then in the evenings they make around to this north-facing ridge that I'm on, and then comes down and feeds in this field at night. So I'm hopeful to cut him off if he does the same thing he did last night. So here we go on the hunt. That massive rub. There's rubs all over here. I think I'm in his den, so hopefully he comes back so I can tuck him in. That's it, folks. We ran out of shooting light and we didn't get our bowl. So we'll save it for next time.
Alrighty, folks. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. This trip was a little bittersweet. We did get one cow elk, but we were hoping to get a bull or two on top of that. But you know, we learned a lot. You know, we've been hunting this area, this mountain, for a really long time, and each time we come out here, we learn something new, and you know, some new areas that we're going to try for next year. And you know, it's just you win some, you lose some. But we got some meat, so we're really happy about that. And Pete got his first elk, so we're super pumped for that. Good job, Pete. And that's going to pretty much wrap for the show. If you feel that this content was helpful for you, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. It helps bring more content to this channel. Do a lot of hunting and a lot of fishing, some cooking stuff. So next trip up, we're going to be doing deer hunting in Pennsylvania, and that should be pretty good. I'm really excited about that, as I've never hunted in Pennsylvania. So stay tuned. You know, get yourself outdoors, have fun. Thanks for watching.